Hi everyone, can you hear me well? Okay, welcome. Welcome to the National Stadium of Bulgaria. My name is Federico Weiner. I work at Adesso Sports Division. We are very pleased to have you here today. It's a sports day for the technological challenges that we see in the industry, and we had very different profiles and roundtables to discuss about the Bulgarian scene, sports scene, from two perspectives. From the perspective of performance analytics in the second roundtable, and from the perspective of the gaming scene on the first roundtable. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope also we do a very interactive session, so feel free to ask all the questions that you want, because we have many different experts with years of experience in the sports, software, technological industry, and that's, I think, very valuable for all of us. And of course, you also feel free to post or agree or disagree with the statements that you are going to hear, because that creates knowledge. Today, there is no one here coming to say truths. They come to say their truth, and we construct knowledge together. So, warm welcome again, and I will give the microphone now to Nicola. He will do an introduction to Adesso Bulgaria. Adesso is the largest IT group in Europe, so please have a look to this, and we continue later on with the roundtables. Thank you.
Thank you, Federico. Okay, so good evening, everybody. My name is Nikola Tupalov. I'm delivery manager at Adesso Bulgaria. And as we are one of the sponsors of today's event, I don't think that I need a microphone.
For the online
Okay. So as we're one of the sponsors of today's event, we decided to do a short presentation and introduce ourselves and to show you what are we doing. So Adesso is part of the Adesso Group, which is one of the leading IT service providers in Germany. And so the last decade we expand not only in Germany, but also in different countries in Europe. So we started with Turkey, then Spain, Bulgaria, and we are adding many more to our portfolio. So currently we are almost 7,000 employees and adding new people every day on the board. Our journey of Adesso Bulgaria started in 2018 when we started with our three first active clients here. And as you can see, through the years, we grew rapidly. And last year, in 2021, we achieved working together with more than 26 customers, working together with them on different projects and products. Today, so we are more than 100 people in Bulgaria. And we are not only in Sofia, but also in the whole country, all sitting in different cities in Sofia, in Bulgaria. Actually, what are we doing? So we are taking care of the whole processes around the custom software development. We are starting with the business analysis to understand what are the customer needs and to translate them into technical requirements. After that, we start with the custom software development, where we develop either a web or mobile or desktop application, depending on the customer needs. So we can guarantee the quality of the software. We have testing teams that are taking care of it, and we can build the whole infrastructure around the system. After we have created the product, we can continue with the maintenance of the system, and if there are any needs, so we can add additional new features to it. We have also the UX and UI expertise, where our people can guarantee the optimal usage of the software. What have we done also for of our clients, it's modernization of their old systems, of their legacy systems. We modernize either the front-end part of the application, or to achieve a better view of it, or we can optimize the back-end performance of the system and apply new technologies that will be maintainable, better maintainable in the future. Okay, so here on this slide we have listed some technologies that it's a little bit technical. That's why here I want only to mention that so we are using the most common and newest technologies that are there on the market, and we are applying the best practices around the software development processes. And here on our last slide, we have listed some references from the Adesso group that we have in connection to sport and entertainment segment. The first one is Swiss Football Association. There we developed a platform for the association, which manages all the administration stuff around it. So to say, there can be the players can be managed, the events, the teams, and the ticketing system, and all financial parts around it. For Borussia Dortmund and FC Inter Milan, there we did something similar for both clubs. It was a 360 fan view. So the system it enables marketing campaigns that the clubs can execute. And for example, for the Borussia Dortmund, they can directly access more than 70,000 fans that they have registered on the system, and they increase their revenue per fan through this platform. So for FC Inter Milan, they're connected to more than 150 fans that they have worldwide, and they can do an instant marketing through the platform. The next reference that we have is collaboration between Adesso and DFB. This is the German Football Association, where this is an ecosystem in Germany that connects more than 7 million people, and 7 million people which are distributed in 21 different associations. And the idea is that this ecosystem can represent the whole processes around industry, like live score, reporting, analysis, and many others. And our last point here is connected to lotteries in gaming. There, Adesso has this point one of the newest generation of iGaming platform in the lottery force sector, where so it is used to broadcast and stream simultaneously different events, and through the new account management system that we have there, we can monitor the players and what are they doing at the platform. So this would be from my side. If you have any questions, yeah, otherwise I will give it back to Federico.
Okay. Thank you, Nicola. Thanks everyone for your attention. We move now to the first roundtable of the event today. I want to see smiles because we have a legendary game player back there. And when I saw this player first time, I was a kid and I was amazed about him. I have a little story. He destroyed my home nation in '94 in the World Cup. Yeah, he beat Argentina. So I was born in there, and now I think Bulgaria is in a sad moment, let's say, because the World Cup is starting very soon, and Bulgaria is with the 179 FIFA nations that is not in Qatar, right? But the discussion today is that there is no World Cup for Bulgaria, but that's not a problem necessarily. We can start discussing today the future of Bulgarian sports, how to overcome this challenge for the next World Cup, and of course, have a thought about how to take the opportunity of this World Cup for the Bulgarian gaming market, for content analysis, for content engagement with different stakeholders. So I invited to the roundtable to Ivan Boyanov, ex-BTV producer and journalist. Please, Ivan, warm welcome. Then, yes, please, allocate yourself. Georgy Pandurov, marketing director of Lokomotiv Plovdiv. Welcome, Georgy. Yeah, okay. And Dani Cerejido, ex-member of La Liga Spain and ex-CEO of Botev Plovdiv, now based in Sofia. Welcome, Daniel. Georgie is missing, or I am counting? Okay, sorry. So, okay, we are the three of us. So, first, do you have microphone both? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so, yeah, okay, great. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can start with you, Ivan, as an experienced TV producer and TV journalist in the Bulgarian market. What the sense of the national team in the World Cup, how that impacts the local market from media and gaming perspective? What is your take on that, and what can you say about the measures that you and other experts in the local industry have taken to mitigate that gap?
Yeah, unfortunately, as you mentioned, the Bulgarian football is not at the best state at the moment, especially if we're comparing to almost 30 years ago in the World Cup in 1994 and receiving a golden ball like Stoichkov did in the past. And the fact that the Bulgarian national team is not playing at the Qatar 2022 World Cup has a massive impact on the interest of sports in Bulgaria. But on the other side, I think that many of the Bulgarian fans and the audience is starting to recognize international stars. So we are aware that a very big part of the Bulgarian audience is now focused on international sports. So gamifying the experience is always bringing a bigger fan engagement. For example, with all the apps and the stats, I read in a study that 76% of the fan engagement in the last years has increased. So this is very important when it comes to a major event as the World Cup in Qatar, and with all the technologies and for the fans and the audience to be closer to the players and the stars that, sorry for having the back on you guys, it's really useful, and it's helping more fan engagement and building more trust around the sport as well, because now we have the feeling that the football game and the players are inside our home, inside our cell phones, because just like 20 years ago, it was really difficult to see everything around the football game. You had to go to a stadium to buy a ticket, and nowadays you can just use your mobile device to be part of the game as well.
Right. Dani, what is your take on that? I mean, you have international experience in different federations and clubs, and recently you've been the president, the CEO of Botev Plovdiv, right? So what is your take for this question about the absence of the national team in the World Cup?
Well, I have to agree with him on the repercussion of, I have to agree with him in the repercussion of the absence of the national team in the World Cup, but this is something that unfortunately the Bulgarians are used to. I also have an anecdote that with Stoichkov, the last match that Bulgaria played in Euro Cup or in World Cup was in 1998 versus Spain. They lost 6-0. And then, or 6-1. Who scored the one? Emu Kostadinov is now 55, something like this. And this is the last experience of Bulgaria as in an important international competition. As he mentions, fans are getting used to have interest in different sports and in different countries. When I was in Botev, I was surprised that, yeah, even though people in Botev is very about his club, they always have a second club, either from the Premier League, Liverpool, Manchester United, or from La Liga, Real Madrid or Barcelona, which they follow often. I don't think that we can take much out of this specific left, not going to the World Cup in Qatar, but we can actually plan for the next 8, 12 years how the situation is going to improve. And for these companies like Adesso, digital involvement of the clubs and gamification and fan engagement is really important. Now the situation is really bad. This is what it is. But when it's a very bad situation, there are a lot of points to improve and a lot of opportunities to open in the next years.
Just if I can add something up, and it's very important for people in Bulgarian football to realize that there is a new generation that doesn't remember these moments, and we should adjust ourselves to have the fan engagement of the new generation. I think that's a massive problem in general with with Bulgarian football clubs and the association, that they're not working on having more fan engagement, and this is why people are engaging with foreign apps and the foreign stars and everything else, building their new heroes. So if we want more fan engagement, we should be able to have a good strategy to build Bulgaria's new football heroes as well.
You both mentioned the importance of technology to build up this bond with the fans, right? What is your take on that? Which technological solutions help or are helping your current business and recent past business to scale and to generate new revenue streams that finally can, make the local scene bigger and finance the development of new players and new stars?
I used to work for 6 years in BTV, which is one of the biggest Bulgarian private channels. Ivailo Chilev is also here. He's the producer of the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. So when I used to work there, and they're still trying to implement a lot of technological solutions for the fans to be able to have a better experience while watching the games, such as augmented reality, which gives you a much better view of what's happening on the pitch and the stats and everything else. But I truly believe that there should technological decisions should be very well connected to a good strategy and knowing your audience, what they need and how you can improve the product that they're receiving. Because if you receive a better product when you're watching a football game, of course you're gonna want to watch another one, and you feel more part of it, which is most important for having a higher revenue for any business and a higher income as well.
So from 1 to 10, if FIFA or UEFA Champions League is 10 on producing a TV scene and a product, how do you feel it is the Bulgarian league at the moment?
2 at most.
2?
Yeah.
That's a big gap.
But it's, for example, I'm not saying that the colleagues that are broadcasting the games, that it's their fault. It's a very complicated issue because we have to think about the infrastructure. The clubs have to help the media as well, so that the fans can be able to receive a better product. And it's all about the strategy and some rules that are written down that should be applied in every game. But we have a massive problem with the infrastructure in Bulgaria, which is really hard for a lot of the technologies to work. So we have a hardware problem, if I can say it that way as well.
Okay. Danny, I mean, from the other side, you experienced it as a club, these problems?
I think he's totally right. There is a total gap between the companies that are ready to provide this technology and the clubs that are not ready to use it. And on top of that, there is a huge financial problem into the Bulgarian football. Long time mismanagement, federation, league, club, political. The good thing of being former is that I can say all this stuff now. So the problem is that there is no actual strategy in the clubs, and there is no symbiosis between the digital companies and the clubs. The clubs need right now, or the companies that are providing these services for the club, they need to understand what the clubs need. And some of them, they just need a website. If you are coming into the NFTs and you are coming into the cryptocurrency or organizing internal processes in an SAP way, most of the managers won't even understand what you're talking about. I can say that there are like 5, 6 decent, not special websites in all Bulgarian football, websites. Applications, probably 1. So we have to go to the point that the managing partners of companies, digital companies, understand what really clubs need and what they can pay, of course.
This is a shame for me, coming from abroad. This is the country of SiteGround, right? I mean, one of the unicorns in web development. There is so much intelligence beyond technology in Bulgaria? I mean, Bulgarians are working abroad everywhere, and when companies need to use IT services, many times they externalize to Bulgaria. Why sports is lagging that much behind? I mean, what happened from this golden era of Bulgarian football to lag behind, not only in results, because we analyzed that the results were not the most successful recently, but on technological side? What happened? Maybe, Danny, you being inside, you tried to change things. What happened for that?
Mismanagement, first. Corruption, second. And a lack of new people willing to stay in the country to change it. You know, everything is a kind of snake that is biting its own tail all the time. And, you know, I have later representations where I can explain, so all these digital companies, bookmakers, the people with capital, with money, they need to take control. And they need to take control by string measurements. There is no sponsorship if I don't take control of the club, if I don't control where my money is going. Because in any case, even though the opportunities are huge, there is no one able to explode them. And, you know, I think there are these three main reasons, and we need some years to change that. I tried. I definitely wasn't able. I came with my own bullshit from outside, abroad. I was in a situation that I could not implement my ideas in the club for several reasons. I misunderstood many things. I understood another ones. So I just decided to leave. I think I can help more from outside. But yeah, there are three things that necessarily need to change. Management, second, all the political environment, and corruption.
Ivan?
Yeah, I'm really sad that a person like you is still not working in a Bulgarian club, because we could benefit a lot of that. And just to add up, I think we stopped in time somewhere around 20 years ago, and we were still there. Bulgaria has the resources in the IT sector, as you mentioned, so we have, if we just want to do it, we can do it in the best way, because the IT guys here are very good. I mean, it's much lower paid than they are abroad, which is a very expensive job to be an IT specialist. And I do honestly agree, because you mentioned one app. I can't think even of the Bulgarian app that is one of the best apps when it comes to gamifying sports are the betting apps in Bulgaria. They're the only one that invest and look for different decisions and make the fans engage more in the game. So maybe, yeah, many football clubs should talk more with the betting companies, not only for taking their money, but actually doing something for being able to engage their fans in the game, which at the end of the day, this is the most important thing. Football generates money by the fans. It's so simple.
What is the average occupation of any game in the first and second division? How do we do to attract fans back to these stadiums, which I think is 40,000 capacity here? So are we able to fill out the stands at the moment, or we are also in a painful moment for this in the local league?
From my experience, it's a painful moment. In Botev, we have been building a stadium since the 90s almost, and they started in 2010, and every month it's going to be open to the public, but never happens, also because of mismanagement, corruption, etc., etc. I still speak in present. We were playing in Komatevo, which is the sports space, which has a capacity of 3,000 people. 3 matches in the season we were actually full capacity, versus Levski, versus Ceska, and versus Lokomotiv Plovdiv, which is the derby of the city. I had the opportunity also to travel around and see how other stadiums are, and I can say that probably the capacity except for some special matches like can be Ceska versus Levski, is around in 20-25% at the most, no more than that. Facilities are not great. They are in all the status of renovation. The weather is not helping very much. Winters here are not cool. And there is also no fan engagement or entertainment for families around. Plus, there are some conducts with fans as well that needs to be taken care of. This is also a huge margin of improvement, and they should look back at what happened in England and in Spain and in Italy 20-25 years ago, and how they actually fixed these issues, and in a much modern way how Germans actually feel the club. But this, for the prices of the tickets, which average probably 8 to 10 leva, which on the exchange is 4 to 5 euro, the stadiums are almost empty.
Yeah, it's a massive problem, and I think that we can talk about it like all day long, because there are so many issues with the stadiums, and there's no marketing in general for the football clubs. I remember when I was a kid, like more than 20 years ago, the average attendance for the big teams in Sofia, Levski, and Ceska was more than 15,000 people per game, and even then fans were like really sad that it's much less than it was in the past. For example, when Bulgaria was still under communism, I do realize that this was maybe the only fun thing to do back in the time, but still, if you will not want to go with your family to a stadium in Bulgaria in general, uh, because of the fans' conduct, as you mentioned, dirty seats, no advertisement about the games, no heroes that we're building for the new generation to want to go to the stadium and recognize as their own idol. And these are just a few of the problems. We have miscommunication between the clubs and the fans. We've built some kind of structure where fans in most of the Bulgarian clubs actually take some decisions, or the management is forced by some of the fans to take some decision, which is bizarre in every point of view. So I do believe honestly that there should be a total restart and building a good strategy with helping from the technology, social media, but also physical marketing and attracting people back to a place where you can go with your family for the weekend, spend like 50 to 100 euro, have some drinks, have a family-friendly atmosphere in general, because there aren't many kids at Bulgarian stadiums now. First of all, because they're not attracted, and second, because their parents don't feel they're going to be safe at the stadium, which is very important.
Right. You mentioned many different challenges for the clubs and the federation to address to get people back not only to the stadium but also to the attention of the league and to the digital ecosystem. Maybe we can take as an example electronic sports, e-sports, which is on the rise. And kids definitely are paying attention to video games in Bulgaria, right? So from your experience, what we can take as an example from the electronic sports scene into sports immediately, in the next 4 years before the 2026 World Cup to address these problems. Any particular example that pop up to your mind, some, concept that you would like to apply, like in a nutshell, if you have the powers to do so in the Bulgarian football scene?
Oh, that's a very difficult question, given the status of the traditional sport to come into the next generation of esports. You know that the new generations, of course, I have a daughter 8 years old, and when I put her to watch football, obligated, she's always with the iPhone or with the iPad in their hand. So the span of attention that she has in football is almost none. 5 seconds, she will be asking something, doing something else, or playing with her games. This is not esports. It's more just digital fun engagement that we can apply actually to these kids. But I think that we are not still in that phase until a reform is made in the general status of football. Plus, it's hard to understand how these kids will think about football. The rules of football are also not helping. Matches are lasting longer and longer all the time, while the span of attention of kids is going down. You have a span of attention of 6 seconds, and you have the VAR. You have 45 minutes per match, and you have 10 minutes extra time. Everything is stopped all the time. It doesn't help. So probably this is a discussion that has to go also to FIFA rules in order of reducing or changing and adapting the rules of the game for new generations. And also, this needs to be held from the digital point of view, how our kids who don't pay attention to anything are going to be more involved in football, in the traditional sport, by using the device that they have in their hands now. I think it's going to take time. It's going to need a lot of interaction between clubs. It's going to be needed a renewal and politicians and federation. Not the renewal that is coming, but probably a wider renewal. And from a zero point of view, starting from zero, take 15, 20 years. And then if in 20 years things are happening, it's a huge success.
Yeah, I'm not a specialist in esports, but I've seen some good practices abroad that might be able to help. But it's again involvement by the clubs, by the federation, and everyone else. For example, abroad, many clubs make their parallel e-leagues where they can have fan engagements by their sports. Levski, Teska, Botev, Lokomotiv. If they build this e-league with professional players that have enough followers on social media, TikTok with a shorter attention span, streaming has become extremely popular when it comes to games in the last decade. So that might be a way for esports to help football as well and the fan engagement of the next generation. Just an idea.
Frankly speaking, do you see that possible happening right now in the current structure of Bulgarian football? Implement esports teams in football teams like, PSG or Real Madrid, or taking into account how the management thinks and what are they worried about?
We're really far away from that, and because even if the Bulgarian clubs do this, there should be patience in building a new audience, etc., which from my point of view never happens here. We're not patient about everything, about anything. I mean, how long did you get, to implement your ideas when you came here? So it's
15 days after I arrived, they already killed me.
Okay. Thank you for the insights and deep knowledge of the scene. I would like to take you to wrap up the conversation, which delivered a lot of knowledge where we are and where we can go. Definitely, this is sorted out by the new way of thinking you mentioned, some extreme measures to readdress the challenges, but definitely by attracting new sponsors that can finance this change, right? When it comes to sponsoring in the league, taking out maybe the betting companies that you mentioned that they are on the forefront of the Bulgarian scene, which data do you normally use to attract the sponsor or to analyze the market? Is a data lake scene in Bulgaria already going on, or is really you need to research all the time and do your own conclusions? What do you think about that? There is a new market to address, to generate data, to measure the return of investment, to measure marketing impact in the local league?
Unfortunately, I think that we're in a really bad shape when it comes to data. So it's usually research and fan-based, just research and how many fans a current club has. But I'm curious as well how the betting companies chooses which clubs accept, if the rumors are right for the political and etc. stuff, how they choose which team to sponsor. But it's, I think 90-something% of the sponsors of Bulgarian clubs are betting companies. I can't think of any other sponsors right now.
Danny, how did you try to attract beyond, let's say, the well-known owners of the club that might have a company and they, of course, support it? There is a marketing beyond that? There is a practice, a process?
At a local level, there is no such a thing of measurement, KPIs, etc., etc. When I arrived to Bulgaria, mistakenly, I actually took from abroad and from a bigger league the better practices that I was working with, but that doesn't work in a local environment like I was working in, which is Plovdiv. I cannot talk about Levski, Ceska, or the big teams in the capital. I can talk about myself and the team where, when I took it in Plovdiv, we didn't have any absolute data CRM system. We didn't even have emails when I arrived there for the football players. It was totally deficient in terms of data. I tried to establish a strategy to attract local sponsors, because generally big sponsors are not going to go to Plovdiv. And this was our main strategy. So to answer to your question about data lakes, I don't think they exist at all so far. So.
In any other industry that you ask, they will say the most basic thing is to have a web, an email, and a CRM, right? I mean, if you don't know who is in your CRM, then you have no idea who is your customer. How is it possible nowadays, 2022, to run a business without a CRM?
Football is not a business. This is the answer to your question. You don't have to run a business. You have to just control some different interests of different people. Most of the organization of football here are not here, worldwide, are at a loss. They lose money. They are hobbies or they're owners or they are just social projects. So they are not seen at the club as a business. So they are not making money. But there is the opportunity to make it if you do it in the right way. And this is the good thing, and this is what we need to start. But yeah, exactly what you're saying. There was not even the minimal basics of business structure in the football club when I arrived. And it took actually a long time to try to implement them because the resistance is huge.
Thank you. Well, last question before we open to the panel, and please feel free to ask for the microphone and ask your own. How do you see the World Cup? Who is going to win it? Who is your favorite? Who you cheer for? Which prediction can you make? And finally, how that connects somehow with the Bulgarian fan? What do you think is the opportunity in the next month to relate to them from the World Cup?
Well, I'm Spanish. I don't think Spain is a favorite to win the World Cup. I wish them well. I think being the last World Cup of Messi, I think he is going to push for Argentina to be finally winning the World Cup with him in the team. I think there are 2 or 3 favorites: Brazil, as always, Argentina, and I will say France. But Benzema is not doing really well lately, so probably it's going to be a problem for the team to have Benzema inside side. So, if I have to bet, actually, about bookmaking, I will bet for Argentina.
I also believe that Argentina has a great chance now, especially with probably being Messi's last World Cup. We'll see if it's Ronaldo's last World Cup. Depends on his shape. But I do honestly think, I was talking with some friends the other day, that Germany is a strong favorite, even though they're putting them lower than Brazil, Argentina, France, even England. But we should never underestimate Germany. They have a great coach. But up to the engagement of the Bulgarian fans, I think it's going to be a bit lower than other World Cups because it's a very, very strange World Cups in all terms, in a very strange period of the year, and the timetable of the games is strange, so many people are going to be working. But I don't think that there is going to be a big difference than last World Cups. Maybe the fan engagement is going to grow because of the technology and all the apps that people are sitting on, playing fantasy leagues or betting between each other. That's something that's become massive in the last years, having this race between friends, even with applications like My Score or whatever it was called. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Questions? Anyone wants to ask anything about the engagement on the gaming scene, football, with the expertise of Ivan and Daniel? Yeah, it's time to do it. Yeah.
Yep, I think that you're aware that there is a new movie on Netflix called FIFA Uncovered, and it's quite open about what is happening behind the scenes. And my question is, does this openness actually helping the football engagement or not?
It's helping the football engagement if what is delivered in the series, in the movie, it's changing the panorama. I think they open to the public what is been happening in football institutions during the last 10, 15, 20 years is going to be helpful for people to understand that they do not have to repeat these mistakes and to start giving some hopes again to the kids to get back into the traditional sport, which will bring them to the digital sports. I don't have much hope on that. I mean, if we check of the 3 last World Cups, which were decided in 2010, I think, you get South Africa. 2014 was where? Brazil. 2018, Russia. 2022, Qatar. That speaks a lot, the 4 countries that they were chosen. I haven't had the chance to watch I'm trying to get a little bit out of football lately, to watch the movie, but, well, I read a lot about it, and I'm in close relations with people in Switzerland that knows everything about it. And it it's going to be a help to be open to everyone to change. And when the change happens, everything is going to improve. I don't know if I answered your question, but it's difficult to get into specifics.
Yeah, I haven't seen it as well. It's on my watch list, so maybe tonight. But I think in the long term it might help. Every transparency in every big organization helps. I mean, we remember in the past there was a massive issue with the IOC. Even a Bulgarian was involved. Ivan Slavkov, there was a BBC Panorama movie buying the games. And the transparency in the IOC, they've been working ever since to have a better transparency, so it has been working for the fan engagement at the Olympic Games, because I know that I've worked for the IOC. So hopefully FIFA takes the same path, but the real football fans will always know if something shady is going on, because we don't need a Netflix documentary to know that there was something shady about Russia and Qatar being chosen for the hosts of the World Cup.
Thank you. Any other question? Okay, so then thank you for your attendance. We are going to do a short break, and then we continue with another roundtable. Thanks so much. Thanks, Daniel, Ivan. But you can put full screen. There is a view full screen.
I think this is a PDF.
Yeah.
You can do full screen, but it has to be up there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we are back. We settled in the first roundtable the scene on the situation. We like to address the challenges with, let's say, the real statements, the solutions that can, overcome such a problem, and we talk as it is. And now, Daniel is going to present bookmakers and Bulgarian football, the rules to develop the market. So it's a presentation, 10 minutes presentation, 8-minute presentation, 2 minutes Q&A about potential solutions, technological and non-technological, to address the challenges that we identified. And then we move to the second roundtable, which focuses on the performance analytics and technological side of the clubs and the Bulgarian Football Union. So Dani, the stage is yours. See you soon.
Thank you very much. I'm not very much familiar with the microphone later, so forgive me if I don't speak in a loud tone, just let me know and I will speak louder. What we were talking before is that some stakeholders in football will need to take control of the Bulgarian football in order to change it. And as my friend before was talking, most of the sponsors in Bulgarian football are coming from the bookmaking industry. All the money, or 95% of the money flows other than television and other sponsors are coming from bookmakers. But I don't think they are working in an efficient way, and I will offer with this presentation some ways to change the panorama by taking the control of the football clubs by the people who is putting the money. So what the bookmakers look for in a football club? First, that everybody sees them. They look for brand awareness. They need exposure. They need that the people see their names in the equipment, in the stadiums, in the events, in the match day. They need to have presence in digital, in media, in the TVs. The bookmakers look also for social responsibility, which I call forgiveness here. It looks like because you are a bookmaker, you need to get forgiven by the society because you are doing something wrong. It's like a continuous apologizing. You need to increase your image index by making some social responsibility actions. You need to associate yourself with good teams, with people with a reputable name. And you need to minimize risk, which is giving your money to people who is knowing how to use it, reliable management, and somebody who is not gonna kill you. So it's not corrupted, it's not with a bad past. So you need to find a compliance in the person who is administering your money and using your name, because you need this forgiveness, and it's all compatible. All these structures are interrelated, as you can see, except for the exposure. There are 3 types of deals in the market of sponsorships, of sponsors and clubs. I say sponsorships, a cash or an in-kind fee paid to a property in return for a commercial value. In this case, the brand of the bookmaker is always, or the sponsor, bookmaker can apply to a sponsor in general as well when I'm talking in this presentation, is less brand than the brand of the club or the stakeholder you're sponsoring. So you just give money to use their brand, their name. There is partnership where the brands are equal, where the arrangements between the two parties are just to cooperate and to get some common goal together. And what mainly happens in the Bulgarian football right now is donations. It's bookmakers, before we were talking that we don't know how the bookmakers are selecting the clubs that they are sponsored, other than political reason. I can put my casino in your place. There are mainly donations right now because the clubs are giving absolutely nothing back in terms of the exposure that the clubs need. That the sponsors need, sorry. If you see the Bulgarian landscape, I think that according to my previous slides, the bookmaker will be looking for image index, which is this association with the renowned club, renowned athlete, social responsibility for the forgiveness, exposure, which is what's bringing them clients, reliable management, you need to rely on the people you are giving to money with, and compliance. And I draw a little bit of the panorama of the market in Bulgaria. If you go to the Bulgarian Football League and the Federation, I don't think they are meeting one of these actual 5 requirements to be the perfect partner for a sponsor. You may have some exposure with the Bulgarian Football Union in terms of the national team matches. No huge stars, as we were talking before. If you go to a little bit bigger clubs, you can go to Botev Plovdiv, which is a big city, southern, about 300, 400,000 people, so you can get some exposure, definitely no compliance and reliable management. Image index can be worked out, but it's close to 1, 2. If you go to the big partners, they may have a better structure. Ludogorets has international repercussion because they play usually in latest rounds of European competition. CSKA and Levski have a huge fan base. And I added September there because they have actually a model of academy that can be attractive for different sponsors, and it's kind of adding to the social responsibility. These people will be, most of the Bulgarian football clubs are going to be in the square one, so professional and non-professional, so just bookmakers are going to give them money to, we don't know what, to put the name in the t-shirt, to put the name in the stadium, which actually nobody's going to see it because the audience in TV are low and no people is going to the stadium. With the other clubs, it will work a little bit better, but the media and the television, these are actually good for sponsoring for the bookmakers because they can offer you reliable management because they are running a business, not a football club, because they are offering you visualization and audience through the television and through the media, and because there will be no problems of compliance and you can be doing with them social responsibility actions and partnerships. So, continuing to the next slide, this is just the conclusion from the other slides. The club needs the bookies, but the bookies don't need the club. Club needs money, but bookies can give money to another partner that are actually giving them what they need. So most of the clubs cannot provide with the bookie what they are looking for in the terms of the 5 items that I explained before. Some clubs could provide with data of the fan base, but just 2 or 3 big clubs that if they have the fan base structured in a CRM system, which I have doubts about, other stakeholders like media and digital can easily substitute the club for everything a bookmaker needs. And there is a big risk in association with a big number of local clubs in terms of match fixing, corruption, and unreliable management. So, in conclusion, bookmakers are mere donators, and the model is not as efficient as it should. Why will I donate money to football clubs? I will actually use my money to improve my business, to get what I need from the clubs. So now it's happening actually totally the opposite. You see, what is the point of a company sponsoring Strumska Slava? There is no actual repercussion in media, in the television, in nowhere. Nobody's going to. When I was invited to the presentation, I needed to relate a little bit what is going on right now in Qatar and how the Bulgarian football will improve, learning from the Qatar experience. I think we have to go 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Qatar was absolutely nothing, 10, 15 years ago. But they have an idea in mind, and they have money to implement this idea. Qatar was an unknown country, but they have a goal and they have the money. They understood that FIFA, you were mentioning it before, was an institution that you can easily control by money. And this is the best football product for worldwide right now, the World Cup, Champions League, World Cup. World Cup is even more exclusive because it's once each 4 years. So they bought the FIFA World Cup 2022, entering the market. They needed some widening and some awareness. What did they do? White clubs. Not white like Barcelona is white. They don't like to be white, but Barcelona needed money at the time. It's a major brand, and they have a clean profile. And what Qatar has? The money. They needed the brand awareness and the association with this club, and they needed the forgiveness because of the human rights reasons, because of all the stuff that was talking about this nation. So association with Barcelona, 2011. What else do they need? More money. They have more money. They need more brand awareness, and they need a control hub. What did they do? Taking control of Paris Saint-Germain. They have the money to buy Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain at the moment was a cheap club in the center of Europe with a lot of political connections. So they did that. They actually came to control of Barcelona by paying them and by Paris Saint-Germain controlling them. European leagues, UEFA, they needed money as well at the time, 2012, after economic crisis, broadcasters were paying less money, so Qatar has the money. What did they do? They created beIN Sports, broadcaster, part of the strategy. They were financing all the European leagues with their own broadcaster, controlling them as well, because who has the money? If I don't pay you the money, who's gonna pay you this amount of money? They got with their own broadcaster, control on the leagues, they got brand awareness because it's their own communication media, communication control, and political control as well, because football is a political tool, not only Bulgaria, but everywhere. And right now, when the implementation of Super League, who was the one who was opposing mostly the Super League? Al-Khelaifi, president of European Club Association, coming from Qatar, president of Paris Saint-Germain, so when European League and UEFA needed the support, Al-Khelaifi gave it back, taking even more political control. This is an example of how probably a bookmaker should come or a sponsor into the Bulgarian market. They have the money. Bulgaria need the money in terms of control, but I need something back in terms of this money. This sounds aggressive. They have a lot of money, but there are smaller ways to do that. So I think, the potential strategy of Bulgaria for the book is the following. Just come with the money, but control where your money is going. And for every sponsor, it works the same way. You can turn the current immature market of federation, professional football clubs, and move these clubs that are in the donator area first to the partner area and then to the sponsor area by working with the right clubs. You have to find the right management to work with. You have to make background checks. You cannot afford yourself to get into a club that is messed up inside in many different reasons. And you have to offer quality rather than quantity. It doesn't make any sense from a sponsor to sponsor all the clubs in Bulgaria when they're giving nothing back. Just get the 3-4 clubs that you are interested in, use them, implement them, and to the rest, make the movement, turn donations to club into partnerships, reduce the inefficiency and meaningless assets, invest in improvement. It's better to have your name in the t-shirt that nobody's gonna see because there is no audience, there is no digital reach, there is no television, or to help these people with digital and work. You put some managers, you implement data in the club, you have a 10 years, 15 years plan, and you implement it. And you squeeze the potential advantage of each club. There are clubs with no advantage, I'm sorry. It is like it is. But bookmakers and sponsors is a business. They need to develop themselves at the same time that they're helping developing the Bulgarian football. And finally, and as Qatar did, you have to take control. If you don't have my marketing team or if you don't have part of my management, I don't give you money because I don't know where my money is going. You have to demand a business plan, you have to demand the strategy from the club, and you have to make sure that they apply it, not that they just tell you, yes, please give me the money, and then they disappear. And to end up just this slide in the presentation, strong compliance, because we are talking about money, we're talking about development, and with no strong compliance, the money just disappears and evaporates in the air like it happened during the last year. And I think that's it. If you have any question, please I'm here to answer.
Thank you, Daniel. Interesting insights. No questions in the room, so we will move then to the second roundtable. I ask Roman, please, to join us. Roman from UbiTrack, one of the leading tracking companies in Bulgaria, right? In the world, of course, from Bulgaria to the world. So I will let you to present the second roundtable. Please feel free to introduce all the audience with the people which is participating in those. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Federico. So my name is Roman Jurov. I am co-founder of UbiTrack, Bulgaria, UbiTrack Sport. We do optical tracking. We place cameras around the football pitch and we extract a lot of data from the game, mainly physical tracking data, positions data. It happens that we're one of the most accurate companies in this field, and yeah, this roundtable will be pretty much covering some technological topics. Now I'm going to switch to Bulgarian language just to have a more productive discussion, and we'll have subtitles on the video on our channel afterwards. So I'm switching now. I'm sorry, guys. Ще поканя Наско Рибарски, който се занимава с аналитичната и тактическата част в ЦСКА 1948. Иван Атанасов, треньор с изключително дълъг опит също така в тези страни, за които говорим днес, с пролиценз на УЕФА и в момента е треньор в Левски Раковски. Да. В общи линии, това, което виждаме в последните години е внедряване на много технологии в всички аспекти на футбола и в това, което всички фенове виждаме. Това, за което се говори напоследък най-много, е въвеждането на ВАР, така наречения ВАР, любим или нелюбим на всички фенове. От ваша гледна точка, като треньор, като аналитик, защото ние го виждаме повече като фенове в крайна сметка, има ли смисъл в този ВАР, в начина по който ВАРа се прилага, кое би могло да се подобри в цялата тази система?
Първо, ВАР не е лошо като решение, но като изпълнение не е добре. Защото аз се спомням при 3 години, като въвеждаха ВАР в Дубай, в емирствата. Дубай е едно от емирствата. Моят отбор, втория отбор на Хата, го използваха, идваха да тренират. Тук не знам дали тренират. Знам, че преди година или година и половина преди да въведат ВАР, имаха там някакви в Бояна, някакви подготовки, сериозни уж. Но по принцип това нещо също трябва да се тренира, както ние тренираме всеки ден на терена, така и те. Защото не знам, предполагам, че една част от хората, които са точно във ВАРа, те не са играли футбол, не са играли професионален футбол, има много голяма разлика. Едно е на PlayStation и да си мислиш, че разбираш, друго е да си го играл. Така че няма как да преценят някой, който не е играл професионален футбол, дали има фаул, кога има засада. Просто тези неща трябва да си играл професионален футбол. И там мисля, че подбора би трябвало да бъде малко по-добър. Даже и сред самите съдии някои момчета просто не са играли и то си им личи. Не е въпросът само да знаеш английски и да бегаш като... Това не е достатъчно. Просто трябва доста сериозна подготовка. Но трябва подбора да е по-добър. Това е.
Тоест проблемите според теб са изключително не в самата технология, в приложението?
Не. Технологията е супер. Защо? Волейбол е супер. Тениса също.
Просто трябва малко повече да се обучават хората и да има малко повече контрол.
По-компетентни.
По-компетентни.
И не свързани с никой.
Да, разбира се, да.
Това е.
I'm sorry, guys. Добре, казват ме, че съм
Заповядайте.
пропуснал Ивайло. Заповядай, Ивайло. Добре дошъл, извинявам се. Значи, ето кой ще черпя аз след събитието най-много. Иван вече го представи. Ако искаш 2 думи само да кажеш, да не е да черпя твърде много.
По темата,
Да.
значи според мен основната причина ВАР да не работи както трябва тук у нас е това, че на различните мачове се снимат с различен брой камери, което, нали, освен причината, която господин Атанасов сподели за не добрата подготовка на съдиите, просто те нямат достатъчно, на някои от мачовете нямат достатъчно добра видимост на конкретната ситуация, която трябва да бъде разрешена, и това, разбира се, мисля, че ще се съгласите повечето от вас, че оставате и вие със съмнение на някои от ситуациите, които гледахме през изминалия сезон, че няма 100% сигурност дори и в зрителите, след като са видяли дадената ситуация. Така че трябва да бъде унифициран начина, според мен, по който се излъчват двубоите, тъй като не може един матч да се снима с 10-12 камери, а пък даден матч, който се счита за по-нискокачествен, да се снима с 4-5, и там вече идва този проблем.
Дай да очакваме същия резултат.
Да.
Добре, благодаря. Наско, извинявай, че така те прекъснахме.
Няма проблем. Така, от моя гледна точка, мисля, че от миналата година, като така съобщиха, че ще влезе ВАР в нашето първенство, така аз и предполагаме колегите и съдиите си мислеха, че така ще падне доста голямо бреме от техните рамене. В смисъл, че това натиск от президент и това, което господин Сигрил също каза за корупцията, също така ще е намалено. Се оказа, че дори при ВАР човешкия фактор остава водещ. Според мен е това, което каза и колегата, разбира се, за камерите. Според мен инфраструктурата трябва да бъде по-добра, за да може да има по-обективен поглед върху ситуацията и да имаме еднакви критерии при тълкуване на ситуациите. Виждаме няколко различни критерии при едни и същи ситуации, което нас самите на терена по време на матч, защото и ние така гледаме по време на матч самата ситуация, но доста често ни озадачава. Така показаха се няколко спорни решения в наказателните полета, показаха с няколко засади също така, които ние така недоумяваме, но мисля, че това също до известна степен може би е повлияно от човешкия фактор. И мисля, че ВАР колкото повече така се обективизира и колкото повече се намали този човешки фактор и хората, които са зад камерите, взимат, ако мога така да кажа, по-малка роля и по-малко влияние, ще олекне на всички ни, на нас, дори и на съдиите, и феновете така ще бъдат една идея по-малко пристрастни при взимането на решения от съдиите.
Тоест вървим към консенсус, че не е проблема в технологията, проблема е в прилагането й.
Определено, да. Според мен може разбира се, да се поставят повече камери, но според мен тази технология е за да помага и за да се намали точно това грешно взимане на решения от страна на съдиите и да помага на съдиите, а не да ги вика за допълнително решение, да си променят решението и съответно да им се дава някаква така грешна насока, в която те да бъдат заблудени.
А сега в Катар ще се използва за първи път на такъв голям форум, ще се изпробва автоматичните засади, които пак са с камери, пак ще се гледат по типа на ВАР, но пък там имаме много обективни критерии, правилата са много прости. Някакви очаквания там, как би се приложило това нещо в България? Какъв би бил резултата с засадите? Защото сега доста спорни ситуации има. Ще видим в Катар как ще се получи, защото и в световния футбол, не само в българския, стават грешки. Но как си го представяте това с засадите в България?
За мен би било много така интересно. Дано, пак казвам, българската инфраструктура на стадионите позволи внедряването на такива камери, които да могат да покажат точно такъв софтуер. Гледаме много така софтуери, които са графично така доста добре изобразени в големите първенства. Мисля, че в Испания има, в Англия има такива софтуери. но разбира се, това ще помогне за играта. Първо се взема много по-бързо решение, защото виждаме някои решения, имаше 6-7 минути забавяне на играта, което при един матч знаете, че времето за игра е 56 минути, последния ни матч с Лудогорец беше 56 минути, ако едно решение се взима в рамките на 6-7 минути, продължението ние не сме имали продължение повече от 5 минути. Смятайте, ако има 3 прекъсвания за взимане на такова решение, според мен това ще забави играта, ще намали динамиката, пък по-важното в мен в случая е напротив да загубим по-малко време. Ако има такава засада, според мен би помогнало страшно много за взимането на много бързо и правилно решение.
Иво?
Напълно споделям това мнение. Просто не може да има тук две мнения. Такава една технология ще влезе в употреба. Ще бъде полезна за всички, както за съкращаване на времето, така и няма да остане съмнение у никого дали е точна ситуацията или не, дали е точно отсъждането или не. Така че видяхме го и в евротурнирите, в Шампионската лига конкретно през
Да, имаше няколко
фаза.
игри, да.
Освен това е много така атрактивно поднесено, един детайл, който допринася за по-доброто изживяване и на зрителите си, мисля.
За мен спокойно може ВАР един път да се намеси в някои матчове. Обаче в други матчове може 5-6 пъти. Но много се бавят наистина. Колегата, както каза, 2-3 минути разискваш едно нещо, което може да прецениш за 10 секунди. Реално погледнато. Виждаш монитора, виждаш ситуацията и ако трябва да видиш и друга камера, и трета, 30 секунди, ама не и 2-3 минути, наистина. Доста се бави.
Да, и за мен винаги е било чудно цялото това гледане откъде идва.
Що се отнася това за сега в Катар, наистина, ако системата е много прецизна, защото засадата е за част от секундата, не за секунда, за част от секундата. Така че, щом е технология, той би трябвало да бъде на сериозно ниво. Защо да не се въведе това нещо и тук? Ако е ефективна на световното първенство, ще се види. Между другото, в Дубай няма такива работи. Този матч е бил по-такъв, 2 камери, другите 12. Няма такова нещо. Всичките са еднакви. И това трябва да бъде.
И като се дадеш еднакъв стандарт, вече можеш да очакваш резултат.
Да. Това е.
Добре, следващото нещо, което бих така извел на преден план е всъщност технологиите, които допълнително вече остават по-скрити за феновете, се използват по време на самото събитие, на самия футболен матч и най-вече моята си тема за проследяване представянето на играчите. Практически в последните години вече осъзнато и от FIFA и поради някои проблеми, които GPS тракерите дават, се използват много такива оптични системи за следене, които стават все по-точни и по-точни. Част от плюсовете на тези системи, разбира се, те имат и своите минуси, но част от плюсовете са, че всъщност като треньорски щаб ти можеш да получиш информация не просто за твоят отбор, как се представя в момента, а и за другия отбор. Как ви се струва цялото това нещо? Оплакват ли се футболисти от носенето на GPS тракери? Би ли било едно по-адекватно решение, ако информацията идва достатъчно бързо, е достатъчно точна? Как ги виждате? Давай ти.
Значи със сигурност вървим вече в такава посока. Това тук според мен две мнения няма. Така напълно информацията, която извличаме от матчовете, води до нещо, от което върви така футбола в световен мащаб, така неминуемо. И това е профилирането на играчи и на отбори. Тоест ще има стилове, според мен, на игра на треньори, които ще бъдат практикувани от тясно специализирани футболисти с точно определените профили, за които вие споменавате. Какво ще включват тези профили? Те ще включват физически данни, ще включват тактически данни и разбира се, целта на всеки един, който е в бранша, тук говоря за треньори, за спортно-техническия щаб, е да има, разбира се, един продукт, който е печеливш. Тоест печеливш от гледна точка на фенове, от гледна точка на точки. Тоест, за да има такъв печеливш продукт, той трябва да играе максимално атрактивно. А за да играе максимално атрактивно, той трябва да бъде максимално, така преди време бяхме разделили футболите на печеливши дефанзивни, те печелят мачовете, пък офанзивните печелят турнирите. Напротив, според мен вече така бъдещето е, че отборите, които играят максимално динамично и интензивно, те вече ще продават така своя продукт на най-висока стойност. И тези данни, за които вие казвате, ще бъдат достатъчно обективни за всеки един от нас, които сме така свързани с спортно-техническата част, да можем да определим доколко модела ни на игра е подчинен на изпълнителите, които така ние имаме и доколко ще постигнем оптималния резултат, разбира се, да играем атрактивно и да печелим точки. И разбира се, това нещо става благодарение на такъв тип системи, защото тази трансформация и информация, която получаваме от един матч, трябва да бъде така, в рамките на 4-5 дена имплементиран в тренировъчния процес до следващия матч. Това е твърде малко време, което ние само единствено можем да го спечелим с така обективна информация от такъв тип софтуери. И разбира се, вече треньорското решение, даване на решение за това, което предстои, за това, което е изминало, разбира се, на плът на тази информация. Според мен това нещо така в близките години ще бъде неминуемо, немислимо без него в тренировъчния процес.
Според мен за развитието на даден клуб, както и треньор, много важно нещо е разузнаването. Едно време, като бяхме още като юноши, гледахме видео, наши матчове на противника, след това в професионалния футбол. Играл съм в АФБ група България. Същото нещо. Гледаме наши матчове на противника и така самите футболисти ние се настройваме за следващата среща, така и треньора си реди тактиката, как ще ги излъже, как ще ги бие. Аз мисля, че бъдещето е такова, просто такива системи, които като вашата могат да бъдат в доста добра полза в услуга на треньорите. И си мисля, че във всеки един професионален отбор би трябвало да има хора, които се занимават тясно с разузнаването. Абсолютно тясно с разузнаването. И ако имат, примерно, такава система, като подобна на вашата, естествено това нещо може много да им помогне. И това нещо, ако се въведе, примерно, говорим в България или в различни други държави, това ще бъде в услуга, то е в услуга на треньора. Имайте предвид, че тези неща са само в услуга на треньора. Да, в футбол има много други неща, като физическа подготовка, тактико-техническа подготовка, психологическа подготовка, възстановяване, не само да ги натварваме, трябва да ги възстановяваме. Много са факторите. И психоклимата в един отбор. Но по принцип разузнаването е само в полза на треньора. А вече капацитета на самия треньор да избере правилната тактика с конкретния противник, това вече е нивото на треньора.
Майстор Лък. Иво?
Аз като треньор не мога да дам голяма оценка, нямам богат опит, но от телевизионна гледна точка ми се струва, че такава една система би била от голяма полза за анализаторите и за водещия в студиото, за да дадат обяснение на зрителите, защо двубоят се е развил по един или по друг начин, така че колкото повече данни имаме и от които можем да правим някакви заключения, толкова по-добре за...
А зрителят е все по-гладен за информация.
Абсолютно. Ако има и възможност как това да се случва и в реално време, разбира се, тук може би повечето от вас не знаят, че поне в мачовете на УЕФА, организирани от УЕФА, нямаме възможност да добавяме така наречените катини или допълнителни поп-ъпи, които да излизат като информация по време на матча, но това може да се случва примерно на някоя дигитална платформа, тъй като там рестрикциите не са чак толкова големи и ако има някоя интересна статистика, която на наш редактор му се сторила интересна, получавайки вашите данни и в течение на матча я покаже, мисля, че това само ще допринесе също така за телевизионното излъчване.
А на локалните излъчвания на националните първенства ти ми показва от Испания визуализации, които дават статистика, докато си гледаш
Да.
мача, това в УЕФА е забранено и би могло
Това е
само да е на
забранено в
дигитална
УЕФА. Това
платформа.
не са го направили унифицирано като задължение за излъчването на мачовете, които са в Шампионската лига и Лига Европа. Най-вече защото не могат в по-малките държави не биха могли да го приложат, тъй като навсякъде е различно. Това може да бъде сторено, както си говорихме с теб, в Испания, а и в другите държави. Незнайно за мен защо в Италия и в Англия не виждаме чак такова приложение на тези така поднесените статистически данни, но в Испания е изключително засегнато и ми прави много добро впечатление, че обръщат внимание на този нюанс. Като в Португалия също, тъй като излъчваме ние и португалското първенство от този сезон, ми прави впечатление, че има такива аугментирани статистики, които са много, много приятни за гледане, много така ангажират и вниманието, освен самия матч, и си мисля, че правят продукта по-приятен.
По-приятен желан. Което, разбира се, отразява и на клубовете в финансовата част, която е доста важна, както слушахме предната маса.
Точно така.
Добре, имам един въпрос. В момента се говори за така наречената Open Data, свободно достъпни данни и всъщност технологии като тази, защото какъв е проблема с GPS-ите? Данните ги получава само отбора, само треньорския щаб на отбора. Докато камерите и вече следващата стъпка е да може да се анализира и това, което виждаме предаването от телевизията, всъщност оттам да можем да извадим всички тези данни. И се получава така, че всъщност всеки отбор ще има данни за всички отбори. Как си го представяте тогава? Всъщност вашата работа като треньори, като анализатори в технико-тактическата част, всъщност това може би поставило изключително високи изисквания към вас. Защото вашата конкуренция, а в футбола няма приятели, винаги има паднал и победил, всъщност вие ще трябва да сте по-добри от другия в абсолютно всеки един аспект вече, защото той ще знае всичко за вас, може би.
Така както те всичко за нас, така и ние всичко за тях.
Разбира се, да.
Ние от това не се притесняваме. Имаме такива данни, включително имахме и по време на матч такива данни на живо. Разбира се, помагат и до такава степен да видиш сега, доколкото знаем и други национални отбори също ползват по време на матч статистически данни, които ти дават така ясна представа кой от твоите играчи е надигран. Примерно, говорим за технико-тактически показатели, като брой единоборства, пък физическите показатели ти показват кой от твоите играчи в момента не може повече. Такъв тип данни по време на матч получаваме. Ние след матча вече получаваме както ние за противника, така и противника за нас, което на нас ни дава по-така детайлна представа за това какво ни предстои и реално погледнато можем да вземем по-добро решение за това как ние да се подготвим на фона на предстоящия противник и разбира се да следим най-вече нивото на отбора в каква посока ходи, дали срещаме проблеми, от какво естество са и по-точно да ги назовем. Имаше такава една фраза, че ако ги няма числата, думите губят стойността си и така хубаво е, когато показваме някакви примери, да бъдат подкрепени с статистически данни.
Благодаря. Иване?
Мисля, че само може това да даде именно нивото на треньорите. Там вече нивото на треньорите ще е показателно кой какъв е. Защото щом всички отбори ще са на равна основа, там вече е нивото, класата. Това е.
Да, въпросът ми идва, защото доста притеснения имаше, като ние започнахме с ваденето на такива данни. По-скоро не притеснения, а коментари от професионалната вече част треньори. Какви сте тия глупости, вие на нас не взимате работата с тази статистика ли, което, ако ние ще вземем тази работа, не е на добре работата. с тази статистика. Затова питам, а иначе предполагам от гледна точка на медиите, тези свободни данни са едно необятно поле да създаваш съдържание.
Точно така, тук вече идва момента на разчитането на данните, тъй като нали, не всеки може да прецени най-важното. Там и при треньорите въпроса, нали, който имаше и ти преди малко към другите двама събеседници, там си личи кой най-добре ги разчита, така че със сигурност, колкото повече информация, колкото повече данни получаваме, толкова по-вероятно е да успеем да стигнем до най-интересното, най-любопитното, което би могло да предизвика интереса и на зрителите, поне в нашите очи, това, което нали, ние преценим, че и надяваме се да бъде интересно и за зрителите.
Страхотно благодаря. А сега, след като изкоментирахме бая технологии, т.е. модерни неща, които вече навлизат в световния футбол, как си мислите, защо това нещо не се появява в България? Поправете ме, ако греша, но тази година за първи път има 5 или 6 отбора, които всъщност ползват GPS тракери, което е технология на 15-20 години. Тя не е модерна, но чак тази година 30%, 40% от нашата лига вече е обезпечена с някаква информация. Какво води до липса на информираност в треньорите, липса на предлагане, липса на финансови възможности, желание? Как да ги преодолеем тия неща? Щом излиза, че е полезно, нали, нещо такова да се въвежда?
Преди около месец говорих с един президент и той ми сподели следното, че не му са дало пари за такива тракери, но айде и ние да имаме. То не е въпросът да ги имаш, въпросът да ги ползваш. Мисля, че тук роля е на самите клубове и особено старши треньорите да си направят щабовете с хора, които да могат да разчитат такива данни и те да са в услуга на него самия и на клуба. Това мисля. Мисля, че именно не е само въпроса. Да, наистина, ако има само 5-6 клуба в България, това не е добре.
Мисля, че са толкова. Наско, ти си пряко ангажиран. Мисля, че са там някъде.
Да, вече са.
Вие сте един от тях. Вие сте на абсолютно технологичен връх.
Да, ние, ако може така да се каже, че може би използвахме така и на моменти неща, за които вече така изнемогваме, не можем, нали, всичко да приложим, но така мисля, че самите треньори трябва да осъзнават необходимостта от информираност, т.е. за всяко едно нещо, което се случва на терена по време на тренировка и на матч, за да могат да си поставят реално проблемите. Тоест, всяка тренировка трябва да представлява някакъв проблем. Когато ти имаш дата по време на тренировка, когато ти имаш дата по време на матч, ти разбираш доколко този проблем си го разрешил. Когато имаш дата по време на матч, ти разбираш, като се анализираш после това, числата те насочват къде точно е това проблем. Имахме така, ние особено имаме тук с моите колеги, разбира се, доста случаи, в които виждаме ясна тенденция в определено поведение на отбора срещу определено поведение на противника. Тоест всеки един противник ти дава различно предизвикателство. И когато имаш дата, тя реално погледнато така обективизира целият процес и ти разбираш точно срещу какъв тип противник, какво ти е необходимо. GPS тракерите пък така реално погледнато ти дават за цялата седмица да разбереш ти дали и до каква степен играчите са били полезни на себе си. Виждаме профилиране, аз затова така и започнах профилиране в определените позиции. Играчите, примерно фланговите футболисти, на моментите избягват в така високо интензивна дистанция 2 пъти повече, отколкото централните защитници. Съответно, тези играчи не могат да се натоварват по същия начин, както се натоварват централните защитници по време на седмичния цикъл. Тоест, GPS тракерите са за да определят индивидуалното ниво на всеки един от играчите. И ние не можем през седмицата да работим без да обективизираме този целият процес. Тоест, благодарение на GPS тракерите ние разбираме дали той е достигнал до своя максимум, който ще му трябва евентуално за следващата седмица. Да, разбира се, оптичните данни, нали, като така, платформата, която вие, нали, предоставяте, е така доста по нали, ползотворна, с оглед на това, че не носят такива жилетки, такива тракери и получаваме информацията веднага. Но реално погледнато пак там не знам дали инфраструктурата ще го позволи да бъдат поставени, нали, на всеки стадион, да бъдат поставени камери, с които, нали, това нещо, нали, да върши работа, но за мене българските треньори трябва да могат да разчитат такъв тип данни, за да могат да разбират до каква степен тренировъчният им процес е бил пълноценен за самите футболисти и до каква степен и къде е максимум. Оказва се, че в много от случаите треньорите не осъзнават къде са максимума на състезателите, с оглед на това, че те не използват такива данни. С оглед и на технико-тактическите показатели, с оглед и на физическите показатели. Точно такъв тип информация така е необходимо, особено на най-високото ниво.
Благодаря. От гледна точка на медии, какво препятства една медия, която има правата примерно за българското първенство, да инвестира, може би, повече, за да получи повече информация? Защото в крайна сметка футбол е продукт, нали, от гледна точка на фена.
Това, което препятства, предполагаме, е инвестицията, която трябва да бъде убедено ръководството, че трябва да вложи, за да получи, за да подобри продукта си. Нали, това говоря от генерално, тъй като до сега не сме се занимавали с продукция на български мачове, с насока на придобиване на подобни данни, но за мен лично, аз във всеки един момент, ако съм в такава ръководна позиция, бих направил една такава инвестиция, тъй като прогресът е свързан с технологиите и това, което виждаме по телевизията, мисля, че няма напредък в последно време.
Добре, много благодаря. Изчерпахме се с програмата, която сме предвидили. Ако някой има въпроси така към хората от кухнята, да ги пробваме сега. Ако не, ти имаш въпрос, задай си въпроса. Ето, чакай.
Доста от вас споменаха, че вече прилагате някакви технологии, нали, приближаваме се въпреки бавно до това, което е на Запада, но, нали, първият фактор е финансов, дали собствениците, спонсорите и така нататък могат да ги приложат. И на второ място, дали самите служители на тези организации могат да работят с този тип данни. Има ли нещо в момента, което смятате, че би отговорило на вторите два критерия и по някаква причина не е приложено? Т.е. нещо, което ви липсва, според вас би трябвало да го има и няма пречки за да липсва?
За мен е нещото, нали, другото, което може да го изтъкнем тук, е мобилността и с оглед на това по какъв начин да бъдат заснемани данните и по какъв начин да бъдат извлечени както от тренировка, така и от матч. Тоест, ние така често пътуваме, сменяме така тренировъчните си игрища често. Примерно сега отиваме на 3-седмичен лагер в Турция също. И по какъв начин, примерно, могат да бъдат използвани камери и софтуери, така че да бъдат напълно приложими на терени, на които, примерно, не може да се сложат стационарни и до каква степен, нали, могат да се използват там.
Благодаря ви за участието, за доста смислената според мен дискусия, която се получи. И заповядайте да се подкрепим след толкова много приказки, размисли и страсти. Да, разбира се.
Well, thank you. Thanks everyone for attending. And now we have a little dinner cocktail, whatever you want to call it. So thank you for attending and enjoy the evening. Bye-bye.
Спирам. Спирам. Да. No, van de